The war in Ukraine is a major global conflict. It has roots in a complex history between Ukraine and Russia. This essay will explore that history. It will explain how the war began in 2022. It will also examine the roles of key players like the United States and NATO. The war in Ukraine is a tragedy. It is important to understand the events that led to it. This essay will provide a comprehensive overview of the conflict. This essay will also discuss the current state of the war. It will analyze recent developments. Finally, it will offer some thoughts on the future of Ukraine. Ukraine and Russia share a long and complex history. They were both part of the Soviet Union for much of the 20th century. After the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, Ukraine became an independent country. However, Russia never fully accepted Ukraine's independence. It saw Ukraine as part of its sphere of influence. Russia wanted to maintain control over Ukraine. This desire for control led to tensions between the two countries. In 2004, Ukraine held a presidential election. The results were disputed. Pro-Western candidate Viktor Yushchenko accused his pro-Russian opponent, Viktor Yanukovych, of fraud. This sparked the Orange Revolution. Protests erupted across Ukraine. The Orange Revolution forced a rerun of the election. Yushchenko won the rerun. This showed the desire of many Ukrainians for closer ties with the West. In 2013, protests erupted again. This time they were sparked by Yanukovych's decision to reject a trade deal with the European Union. This decision was seen as favoring closer ties with Russia. These protests were called the Euromaidan protests. The Euromaidan protests led to Yanukovych's removal from power. This further angered Russia. It viewed these events as a threat to its interest in Ukraine. In 2014, Russia took advantage of the chaos in Ukraine. It invaded and annexed the Crimean Peninsula. Crimea is a region of Ukraine with a majority Russian population. Russia claimed it was protecting the rights of Russian speakers in Crimea. Russia also supported separatists in eastern Ukraine. These separatists wanted to break away from Ukraine and join Russia. This led to a war in the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine. The war in Donbas continues to this day. The interests and roles of key players. Several key players are involved in the Ukraine war. Each has its own interests and goals. Understanding these interests is crucial to understanding the conflict. Ukraine is fighting for its survival as an independent nation. It wants to maintain its territorial integrity. It also wants to pursue closer ties with the West, including joining NATO and the European Union. Russia, on the other hand, wants to maintain its influence over Ukraine. It sees Ukraine as a buffer state between Russia and NATO. It fears NATO expansion eastward. It also wants to prevent Ukraine from becoming a successful democracy. The United States and NATO, supporting Ukraine. The United States and NATO have played a significant role in the Ukraine war. They have provided billions of dollars in military and financial aid to Ukraine. They have also imposed sanctions on Russia. The United States and NATO are motivated by a desire to contain Russian aggression. They also want to uphold the principle of international law. This principle states that countries should not invade other countries. Recent developments, a glimmer of hope. In recent months there have been some glimmers of hope in the Ukraine war. In March 2025, former US President Donald Trump held a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. During the call, Putin agreed to a 30-day halt to energy infrastructure strikes. He also agreed to a prisoner swap and future negotiations. Trump has advocated for improved US-Russia relations. However, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed skepticism about any talks that exclude Ukraine. In another development, Germany approved a plan to boost its defense spending. This is potentially significant. It could provide Ukraine with much-needed military support. The uncertain future of Ukraine. The war in Ukraine is a tragedy for all involved. It is a reminder of the human cost of conflict. The war has had a devastating impact on Ukraine. It has also had a significant impact on the global economy. The future of Ukraine remains uncertain. The outcome of the war is still unknown. However, one thing is clear. The war will have long-lasting consequences for Ukraine, Russia, and the world. The international community must continue to support Ukraine. It must also hold Russia accountable for its actions. Only then can there be a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky's journey to the presidency is nothing short of extraordinary. Once a comedian and actor, Zelensky starred in a popular TV show where he played a fictional president of Ukraine. In a twist of fate, fiction became reality when Zelensky won the 2019 presidential election by a landslide, riding a wave of anti-corruption sentiment and public desire for change. Zelensky's leadership style is characterized by his direct communication with the public and his relentless pursuit of transparency and reform. In the face of the Ukraine war, his resolve has only strengthened. From rallying international support to making tough decisions on the battlefield, Zelensky has shown an unwavering commitment to his country. One of his key decisions was to refuse to leave Kiev at the onset of the full-scale Russian invasion. His declaration, "I need ammunition, not a ride," became a symbol of Ukrainian resilience. This act of courage galvanized not only his nation, but also the global community. Public perception of Zelensky has evolved dramatically. Initially seen as an outsider with little political experience, he is now regarded as a symbol of Ukraine's resistance and hope. His leadership has inspired millions, demonstrating that even in the darkest of times, strong and empathetic leadership can make a profound difference. As Ukraine navigates its uncertain future, Zelensky's role remains pivotal. His ability to unite his country and garner international support will be crucial in the ongoing struggle for peace and sovereignty. The world watches closely, hoping that under his leadership, Ukraine will emerge stronger and more resilient than ever before. As the war in Ukraine rages on, the role of international leaders has become increasingly significant. Among these leaders, American President Joe Biden has played a crucial part in shaping the global response to the conflict. From the outset of his administration, Biden has made clear his stance on supporting Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. One of Biden's earliest actions was to reinstate and expand sanctions against Russia, targeting key individuals and sectors to exert economic pressure. These sanctions were designed to isolate Russia on the global stage and weaken its ability to sustain the war effort. Biden's administration also worked closely with NATO allies to bolster military support for Ukraine, providing essential aid in the form of weapons, training, and intelligence. In his public statements, Biden has consistently condemned Russia's aggression and reaffirmed America's commitment to supporting Ukraine. His speeches often highlight the importance of defending democratic values and standing in solidarity with nations under threat. Biden's declaration that an attack on one is an attack on all resonated deeply, reinforcing the principles of collective security. The Biden administration has also played a pivotal role in coordinating humanitarian aid to address the growing crisis in Ukraine. This includes financial support for refugees, medical supplies, and efforts to ensure the safe passage of civilians from conflict zones. Biden's leadership has been instrumental in rallying international organizations and private entities to contribute to these humanitarian efforts. However, Biden's approach has not been without challenges. Balancing the need for decisive action with the risk of escalating tensions has required careful diplomacy. The administration's efforts to maintain unity among NATO members and other allies have been critical in presenting a cohesive front against Russian aggression. In summary, President Joe Biden's role in the Ukraine war has been multifaceted, encompassing economic sanctions, military aid, diplomatic efforts, and humanitarian support. His administration's policies and actions reflect a steadfast commitment to supporting Ukraine in its fight for sovereignty and democracy. As the conflict continues, Biden's leadership will remain a key factor in shaping the international response and ultimately the future of Ukraine. As the Ukraine war continues to unfold, the defense support provided by various nations has played a pivotal role in strengthening Ukraine's resistance against Russian aggression. This support has come in many forms and from numerous key players on the global stage. One of the primary types of support has been military aid. Countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada have supplied Ukraine with advanced weaponry, including anti-tank missiles, drones, and artillery systems. These weapons have significantly bolstered Ukraine's defensive capabilities, allowing its forces to effectively counter Russian advances and protect strategic locations. In addition to weaponry, training and intelligence sharing have been crucial components of international support. NATO members, including Germany and France, have provided specialized training to Ukrainian troops, enhancing their combat readiness and tactical proficiency. Intelligence sharing has given Ukraine real-time data on enemy movements and strategies, enabling more informed and effective responses on the battlefield. Financial support has also been a cornerstone of international aid. The European Union, Japan, and other allies have committed billions of dollars in financial assistance to support Ukraine's economy and military efforts. This funding has been vital in sustaining Ukraine's war effort, ensuring that its military remains well-equipped and its government can continue to function despite the ongoing conflict. Humanitarian aid has not been overlooked. Countries like Poland, Romania, and Slovakia have opened their borders to millions of Ukrainian refugees, providing shelter, food, and medical care. International organizations and private entities have also contributed, delivering essential supplies and support to those affected by the war. The impact of this collective support has been profound. It has not only strengthened Ukraine's defense, but also sent a clear message of global solidarity against aggression. The united front presented by the international community has put additional pressure on Russia, challenging its actions and intentions. In conclusion, the defense support provided to Ukraine by various nations has been instrumental in sustaining its fight for sovereignty. This multifaceted assistance has included military aid, training, intelligence sharing, financial support, and humanitarian aid. As the war progresses, the unwavering support from the international community will continue to be a crucial factor in Ukraine's resilience and determination to defend its freedom. The Ukraine war has had profound implications for Europe, reshaping its geopolitical landscape, impacting its economy, and prompting varied responses from European nations. As the conflict continues, these changes are likely to have lasting effects on the continent. Geopolitically, the Ukraine war has led to a significant realignment of alliances and power structures within Europe. The invasion by Russia has prompted many European countries to reassess their security policies and defense strategies. Nations such as Sweden and Finland, historically neutral, have sought closer ties with NATO, recognizing the necessity of collective security in the face of Russian aggression. Additionally, the European Union has taken a more assertive stance, demonstrating a newfound unity in its foreign policy. Economically, the war has triggered a series of shocks across Europe. The disruption of supply chains, particularly in energy and agriculture, has led to increased prices and inflation. Europe's heavy reliance on Russian gas has become a critical vulnerability, prompting urgent efforts to diversify energy sources and invest in renewable energy. Countries like Germany have accelerated their transition to green energy, while others have sought alternative suppliers to reduce dependency on Russian imports. The response of European nations to the Ukraine war has been multifaceted. On one hand, there has been a robust show of solidarity with Ukraine, manifesting in military aid, financial assistance, and humanitarian support. European countries have imposed stringent sanctions on Russia, targeting its economy and political elite in an attempt to pressure the Kremlin to cease its aggression. These sanctions, however, have also had repercussions for European economies, leading to a delicate balancing act between supporting Ukraine and managing domestic economic challenges. Moreover, the influx of Ukrainian refugees has tested the social and political fabric of many European nations. Countries like Poland and Germany have welcomed millions of displaced Ukrainians, providing them with shelter, healthcare, and education. This humanitarian response has highlighted the capacity for compassion and solidarity within Europe, even as it poses logistical and financial challenges for host countries. In conclusion, the Ukraine war has catalyzed significant changes across Europe, affecting its geopolitical dynamics, economic stability, and national policies. The continent's response to the conflict has underscored the importance of unity and resilience in the face of external threats. As the situation evolves, Europe's continued solidarity and strategic adaptability will be crucial in shaping its future trajectory.